Wait, are we recording?
Are we recording?
Yep, you're recording.
Oh, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All three?
Good to go.
Oh, shit. Hello, and welcome to Moo with a View. My name is Moo, and I'm joined with my dear friend... Oh, I was gesturing to you so you could say your name.
I can't see.
Oh, sorry. Let's try it again.
Okay.
I'm joined with my dear friend... Go.
Oh, hi.
Wait, let's do a fresh start.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Moo with a View. I'm your host, Moo, and today I'm joined by my dear friend, Edson Rosas.
Hi. It's nice to be here.
Oh, well, it's nice to have you. Sorry, I forgot already what we're talking about. We're gonna start, let's go to the beginning of your professional journey. We'll skip high school, because that's a mess for everybody.
Yeah.
And tell me about your undergrad. Where did you go?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad. It's kind of been all over the place. Some of y'all may have heard it. I've said this millions of times. But I started as pre-law. Then I didn't like wearing suits, so I took a semester off, did some crying, thought I could teach French.
Whoa.
I'm terrible at that.
Do you speak any French?
No. Well,
Oh.
I can say, I can eat at the cafe, j'ai mangé something.
Well, I was conceived in France.
Yeah.
So, oui.
Uh,
Oui.
But after the French fiasco, I went to art education, and then I went to art. And then that's where I kind of fell in love with printmaking, so I went to Minnesota State University, Mankato. Graduated around 2019, and then started my Master of Fine Arts at Pacific Northwest College of Art, fall 2019, and some of y'all may know there was a thing called COVID. And then, so most of my time was spent in COVID. I think I did a regular semester of grad school and then was kicked out, etc. But that's kind of a quick overview of my educational kind of path to where I am now. I've graduated, of course, in 2021. It's 2022 now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 2023 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've spent a good chunk outside of school, kind of navigating how to be an artist, who I am as an artist. Also kind of just recovering from grad school. It was Portland, Oregon. So there was a lot going on.
So let's reel it back. Let's get back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe not the full beginning, because, you can tell me a little about pre-law. What was that like?
Boring. Suits were tight.
Okay.
I remember I bought my first suit, and I was like, this isn't comfortable.
Did you have a briefcase?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, yeah. Let's just skip that then.
Yeah.
French. What sparked that?
I thought I speak Spanish now, and I thought teaching Spanish was just too cliche, so I was like, I'm gonna teach French. Yeah, let's do
spice it up.
Yeah.
That was it?
That was that. And then after a semester, I was like, whoa, French people know how to speak French, and I don't. So I was like, let's leave it to the French, just teach it. I'll just teach art, because art has always been an interest of mine.
So why wasn't it your first, stab at education? Why did you not go there?
Because I didn't want to teach high school students.
Yeah, that's valid.
But now I work with them, coincidentally. I guess what I do as kind of my day job, I'm an admissions counselor for an art school. So what I do is kind of help through the application process. I also give feedback on portfolios for high school students. I review the portfolios, etc.
So if you're in high school, feel free to message Edson whenever you feel like it, and they'll help you through it all, right?
We'll see.
Yeah, they will. So you still went for arts education and not art studio first. What was that kind of reasoning?
So I've always been interested in kind of teaching people. I've always been interested in education, kind of also why I currently have my current position. There's just something about teaching, but lately in life is that something I really want to pursue? So that's kind of like where I'm at now is like, what do I want? Creatively, professionally. But I've been, I've been working on it.
Working on that burp. So we're in your undergrad, your final iteration of undergrad. We're in studio practice. We're in printmaking. Is that something you had always kind of been doing, or was that something new to you then?
So I did printmaking while I was working on law, so I was also taking art classes then. And I kind of just fell in love with kind of the process. I'm very process oriented. I love just the steps it takes to get to the finished product. And then kind of from that also stemmed my love for haiku. That comes later on in my creative practice, probably like the end of my undergrad. So the reason why I love haiku is because the haiku is also very just like strict in terms of like you need 5, 7, 5, like 5 syllables, 7, 5.
Can you spit off a haiku right here, right now?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Haiku makes sense. It forces problem solving.
Ooh.
That's why I love it.
Ooh! It's kind of sad if I'm the only one clapping, but I'm sure the whole audience is. Come on, audience. All right, okay, so back to your printmaking, your first discovery of all of that. So with the process of it, can you kind of share a little bit of what that's like? At least for you.
Yeah, so screen printing usually involves kind of creating an image, and after that you kind of create a negative or a positive. Then you kind of coat your screen with a light-sensitive chemical. You let it dry out, and then you take your positive or negative, you put on a light table, put the screen on it, you expose it, and then you move on to the washout booth, and then you spray it down. And then after you spray it down, you let it dry like by some fans, and then you tape your screen down for any imperfections. Then you get your ink, you squeegee, and then repeat.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted with all your hand movements. It was very exciting to watch. So we're at printmaking, and you said you fell into that right at the start of your undergrad, or is that like right? Yeah. Okay, and then haikus came later. So how did that happen? Did you just like were you like reading a book one day and you're like haikus?
I don't know. So I don't know if you haven't noticed. Outside of this, it's just me as a person. I'm not that great at like words or like longer explanations. So I feel like condensing my words into just a small compact form really works well with me, just because I feel like I'm a man of few words sometimes.
Wow, how poetic.
Thanks. But I don't know, I just feel like a haiku works very well just because I have trouble expanding what I want to say, and if I just force myself to say it in a short, concise format, it makes me happy. People understand it. I don't have to write a whole book on like why I love peanut butter or something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty easy concept to grasp too. Yeah. So, okay, did you always want to go straight to grad school or not?
Kinda. So the goal for grad school was like I want to teach at the college level.
Yeah.
So if you have your Master of Fine Arts, generally, you can teach at the college level, but then it comes down to like who do you know, positions, things like that. So that was like one of the main factors why I wanted to go to grad school. The other was I just wanted to continue kind of my practice. I wanted really to hone in who I was as an artist. I also wanted a change of scenery. That's why I also went to Portland, Oregon, to do my MFA.
Okay, so I guess the difference between Minnesota and I forget what you already said. Which school was it? It's like
Pacific Northwest College of Art.
Oh, why did I think there was something else? Maybe it was one of the other 3 adventures you went on. Yeah. Anyway, so from PNCA to Oregon, what was like the biggest difference, I guess?
So I grew up in a small town of 80, mostly in Iowa, and then when I did my undergrad, I lived on a farm with Jordan, who you know. Oh. And then, so moving to Portland was like my first official city. So that was kind of like a big change. The next change was kind of starting out as a cohort of 1 in my program, which was a little weird just because I went to orientation. I'm going to take this off.
Oh, we're getting serious
Yeah,
now.
this is Ed, by the way.
Bye, Ed. It's nice
I'll
chatting
aim right
with you.
here. I'll stare at the camera. I need to put my eyes on.
Hello, Edson.
What's up? I can see now. But yeah, so I went to orientation. We were like mingling with the other grad programs, and they started to split up by like programs, and I was like, oh, everyone's like joining their groups. And then I was just like looking around. I was like, so where's the printmakers? And then that's when I found out I was a cohort of one. Summer and someone who I don't want to say their name and acknowledge also joined my cohort later on. Summer, killer person, love Summer.
Love Summer.
Summer was also pregnant during the time, so shout out to Summer for being a mom in grad school during the pandemic. But anyways, so we were just...
Wow. I feel like we need to have like a moment of silence for... No, that's sadness. Should we clap?
Yeah, let's go Summer.
Summer!
You see this? But yeah, so starting out, I was like, this is a little rough. I'm transitioning into school. I'm transitioning as just a cohort of one. So that was like the beginning of the rockiness. And then the second semester hit. That's when everyone got sick. The pandemic happened.
Take me back.
So then, I don't want to say they kicked us out, because I mean, it was probably a good reason everyone wasn't in school at the time, but we did get kicked out of our studios. So I think it was probably between March until, I want to say July, that I didn't do anything but just like go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at like 2 p.m.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Everything felt just like hazy, foggy. I wasn't creating.
Were you still like supposed to be in school, or was it just like a hiatus?
It was just like what's going on?
Okay.
No one really knew what was going on when we were returning. There wasn't that many people in my cohort, so just like all our projects were just like, let's just finish up the semester.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, there was also forest fires over in Oregon, so everything was orange. The air quality was terrible.
Don't love that.
It was a rough ride, kind of the rest of the time. There was at the beginning, but it was all a rough ride.
And was that a 2-year program?
Yeah, it's a 2-year program, which was, I don't know, the whole experience was something. So after the first semester, it was probably...
Wait, while you're doing that, you also have something on your cheek under your glasses.
Okay. Am I good?
No. It's like right here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you touched it, but it's still there. You got it.
Ew.
I was like waiting for a good moment to tell you, but you were just like on a roll. I didn't want to disrupt it. Are we back live? Okay. I'll ask you a question so we can edit and cut. I should ask a question. What should I ask you?
Let's not cut this out. We'll keep that in.
Yeah. Hey, Alan.
Hi. Shout out to Alan.
Our production team.
Yes. Alright, let me...
Also, sound effects.
Yeah.
We're good.
Anyways, to continue. That was Alan again.
Alan again, yeah.
So it was right before the pandemic hit, second semester. I was in a critique with the second years. So kind of how the program went, since I was the only one, they kind of just like lumped me in with the second years for their classes. So once it was my second year, I did some of the same assignments again, but no shade to them.
They're figuring it out.
Yeah. So yeah, there was this critique specific in my second semester where someone said something that I felt wasn't accurate. It was an older cis white male.
Ugh, say less.
They were saying like, hey, well, they said they represent the working community, including minorities. And I generally am like a soft-spoken person. I don't say much. So it takes a lot out of me to like speak up against something, and I felt like I needed to say something. And I was like, hey, person, I don't want to say name. maybe you should acknowledge that you're not kind of representative of everybody, especially the working class. So then after that, I was like emotionally drained. And then after that happened, like we all went to our studios, and like I was just hanging out, like recovering after that. And this person I'm gonna name Greg. No, Greg's a nice person, I know.
Yeah, let's go with like an ugly name. Like
No, what if someone's...
oh shoot, yeah.
We'll go with Alan. You're not ugly, but we know you. You're a nice person.
That was some shade.
No,
Yeah,
you're
that
not.
was so shady.
Alan, you're not ugly. I just couldn't think of another name. So Alan, not ugly. This is the only name I can
Not
think
ugly,
of.
Alan.
Alan. That just feels mean. I'll just say person who shouldn't be named.
Say Ryan. I knew a kid in Ryan who used to bully me.
Ryan used to bully... Well, this is weird now. Whatever, Ryan. I just want to give the person a name.
Yeah, call him Ryan.
That's a lot of trauma. Anyways. That's too many traumas intersecting. Anyway, so person who should not be named came to do my studio and like aggressively shouted like, damn Ed, you pulled the fucking white man card on me. Like shouted aggressively, and I was just like, wow. I didn't really know wow. I was just like very stunned.
Taken aback, yeah.
And then he left, and everyone was in my studios, or like open studios. No one really approached me or asked like, are you okay?
Huh.
So then I just like went out, talked to two people that were in the cohort ahead of me, and I was like, hey, can I go outside and talk to you? And then I broke down, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. No shade to them either. You weren't that helpful, but they probably weren't equipped for me to cry at you. So then I like broke. I don't know how it goes because I might cry.
Here, do you want another hand?
No, let me talk.
Oh, sorry.
So no shade to PNCA, but also some shade. So after that experience, like I just like did my regular schooling, and then Matthew, shout out to Matthew, you're a great person. He's also the program director.
Aww.
Matthew like pulled me. I was sitting in the risograph room, so it's like this own little alcove. I was just sitting in the dark for some reason, working on just printing something out. But he comes in, he's like, so I heard what happened. He's like, I'll talk to this person. And then that was that. And then a week later, a person who should not be named approached me and said, Matthew is making me apologize to you. He's like, I'm sorry for what I said. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's like a weak ass apology.
And then Abra, amazing person, love Abra. Shout out to her.
Yeah, I know an Abra that I also
Abras
love.
are just nice.
Yeah, shout out to all the Abras out there.
I talked to Abra a little bit about it, because Abra's like, hey, I've noticed you've been having a tough time. Is there anything you want to like talk to me about? And I just like cried again. So I was team Abra the whole time. And then the pandemic hit.
Oh, lovely. I thought this was during the pandemic.
No, this was like 2 weeks before pandemic.
Wow.
When they kicked us out. And then that happened. So then the pandemic hit. So then I didn't really have time to process, because I was still processing like grad school. Is this what I want? That whole summer I just spent like a lot of crying, a lot of just like, I felt like in limbo. And then comes second year. I continued it. I wrote it out. Got my MFA. Second year comes around. New group of amazing cohort. Shout out to Izzy. Shout out to... I'm forgetting names. I'm sorry.
Wow,
Christina,
great cohort.
Izzy, Christina, Cassie, Amelia. There's more people.
And those are all printmakers?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was an amazing, beautiful group. I remember I picked up Izzy from the airport. Izzy's from Canada, so she didn't like know anybody. But I reached out to Izzy because our work is similar. Izzy's also a brown person. So that cohort was very diverse, and I just really did well with them. Person who shall not be named basically did the same thing again. But this time it wasn't directed at me. It was directed towards other members of the new cohort. Jeez. So there was even more emotional crying, more emotional damage. This time an investigation got put out, kinda. But then the person who shall not be named, he's kind of Voldemort. Anyways, they put saying like, oh, the teacher is being unfair by doing this. So they did another like thing back at them. So then there was like another investigation to make sure the teacher's being fair. So this whole thing just got dragged out, basically my whole grad experience, and it never really got resolved.
Damn.
I remember meeting with a lot of people, just explaining my story over and over again, just feeling very emotionally drained by the whole experience. And I remember, I don't know, it was just, I feel like it was never resolved. The person was let graduate. They weren't allowed to attend graduation, which was on Zoom.
Oh, boo-hoo.
But that was kind of just like my whole grad experience, and I'm like a year and a half out now, and I feel like I'm finally starting to just like look back, process everything, and I don't know, my creative practice has like kind of taken a halt from it, because I've just kind of been navigating in the world, like who am I as an artist, what does my art want to be, where I should probably just move on and not let this emotionally drain me. I don't know. Maybe I should see a therapist. But
I mean, yeah, therapy is good for a lot of things.
But yeah, so I guess now where I'm at is just kind of like processing all that. Shout out to everyone at PNCA that was kind of that helped me along the way as well. The amazing cohort that was behind me, Matthew, Abra, they were all very helpful. Sometimes not, but you were very helpful. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, then I graduated.
Congrats.
I mean, it was kind of resolved. At one point, they got person out of classes for like 2 weeks, and then we got sent an email like, "Oh, he's returning. He's sorry." But yeah, that was my grad experience.
So I'm gonna take a stab at this, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, damn, that's like a lot of heavy shit to have to be going through on top of a pandemic too.
Yeah, I'm very slouching.
Ooh. Well, it's okay. we can throw this set apart. That's good. Well, I have one more question about grad school.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I know you said it's taken you a while to kind of process everything that you experienced, but do you feel like the work that you were making during grad school had any role in processing like real time, or was that, because I'm familiar with that work, that's the first work of yours that I saw, and I mean there was definitely like identity not experimentation.
Exploration.
Yes, thank you. There's definitely exploration of your identity within it, but I saw it more, and maybe that's just me coming from it with like my experiences and background, but like I saw it more relating to the pandemic, so I'm just kind of curious.
I forgot to talk about my work.
Yeah, the whole point of this interview.
Yeah, so my thesis for my entire work was escapism, as you could guess. I didn't want to be there. And I didn't want to be in the pandemic. I mean, I did want to be at school, but like I didn't want to be there either for many reasons. So my thesis was around escapism, blobs, forms. I was basically making work that made me happy, that I just enjoyed making. Printmaking is just something I really enjoy, haiku. So my work focused a lot around escapism. I said that already 50 times. But yeah, so I was just making, I don't know, that's escapist.
You're just escaping shit.
Yeah, I was just escaping shit. I use a lot of AstroTurf within my work. I like kind of mixing kind of like reality and fake reality. As you can tell with Ed, Ed and AstroTurf probably live in the same realm. I did some forward prints were along the wall against like a sky. Look on my Instagram.
Yeah, just go do the work. Check them out.
But yeah, so escapism, what the work was about, because there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I didn't. At the beginning, I started making work about what was going on, and I just felt like that was so emotionally draining. I didn't feel comfortable wanting to make work that would get graded on like what I was being drained about. So I kind of just switched gears and made work more that made me happy. I made haikus, kind of about identity. A lot of my work is autobiographical, so I guess the theme kind of just changes on what's going on in my life or what I want to avoid in my life.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna just move past all that.
Yeah, I'm over it now. Let's go.
Yeah, flourish. So post grad, what was like the first kind of like thoughts you were having?
I'm gonna move so I can be closer to my mom. Also, side note, that was some added more stuff. So the pandemic was going on. My mom was having some health issues as well. There was like a hard lump in her breast at one point. She also had like a minor heart attack. And I was just like in Oregon, like figuring out like, oh shit, I just got like slightly hate crimed. I can't go home and hug my mom right now because she's like also having health issues. So yeah, that's also some added like shit onto my grad experience. Not like shit, like my mom's alive and healthy now, thank God. But that was just like a lot going on personally. There's a lot going on personally.
Personally one way, personally another way.
Personally, educationally, personally, family way. Emotionally. So
and globally.
Yeah, I lived in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. A lot of riots was going on. Yeah. So yeah, the work was escapism, so I could not worry about all that stuff.
Cool. So then graduate and
yeah, I also was sorry to cut you off.
Hey, it's your show. Go ahead. It's now called Edson with a View.
Not to brag, but it was also they also made me the speaker person at graduation too. I felt like that was a pity thing. Like, oh, this poor guy, let's make him speak.
Aw, did you like having
I slayed it?
Oh, of course you did. Can you recite it for us right now?
No.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have time anyways.
Yeah.
But
yeah, post graduation.
So yeah, move back to mom.
Well, I didn't move back to mom.
Oh, think about moving.
Closer to mom.
Okay. Yeah.
Not close enough where I have to like see her every day. I love you, but
yeah, no, I totally relate. Even though I live like
so I moved back.
Yeah.
I got hired at an art school. I don't know if I should say the name.
We don't have to.
Yeah, I got hired at an art school. And it's been a pretty sweet gig. I travel for work, which is really nice, which is why I'm here.
Yay! Thank you, school that shall not be named.
But yeah, also post graduation, I like lost my studio space. My life got packed into a storage unit, so now I've kind of just been living like figuring out like what are my next steps, getting my footing in a new community, not new to me, but also new to me. Figuring out like who I am as an artist, like what are my next steps of what I want to create, which I'm kind of starting to do. Like a few weeks ago, I got like this inspiration to create. Then my travel season started, so now I can't really create because I'm just moving around. But January, we'll see.
Yeah, you'll make it.
January comes around, I'll have some free time again. So yeah, lately it's just been like figuring out who I am as an artist, what are my next steps, and that's all totally okay. It's okay not to make work. That's something I tell myself because it's true. Even if I'm not drawing every day, if I'm not making a print, if I'm not making a soft sculpture, this isn't mine.
Yeah,
this is inspired. This is inspired by me.
Yeah, if you actually looked at Edson's Instagram, you would get that. So
yeah, so do it.
Don't be fake.
Even if I don't create every single day, or if I go a whole 2 weeks without creating, I'm still an artist. I'm just taking a break for myself, focusing on myself, and that's okay to do.
Oh yeah.
But I made this today, specifically for this.
Yeah.
And I'm still an artist. I'm still doing things. I guess I also curated a show or whatever. I guess I did have a show with Sam.
Yeah, you also had a show, and you're about to be in another one.
Yeah, so I am doing things.
Yeah.
But I'm also just like figuring it out.
So when you say figuring it out, is that an active figuring out, or is that more of a passive, kind of like mentally?
Both.
Okay.
I'm like figuring it out as in like I do a lot of journaling. Surprisingly, that's not haiku. Just like talking about my creative practice, where I'm at, so I can review it. Figuring it out as in like lately I've been reaching out to people, just like getting to know the creative community more in Minneapolis, where I'm from, where I live now. So actively figuring it out means just like navigating the art world and where I exist in it currently.
Cool. So what is your, I guess, 5-year plan? Let's end on that.
Yeah, so I have a show with Moo coming up. That's the start of the year, actually. Perfect.
By the time they're watching, it would have already have happened.
We're recording this before that. Know that. I don't know. I don't like 5-year plans.
Okay, 3 or 10?
Let's go like
or just
January.
2 months. Yeah. Yeah.
Get through travel season, and then so once January comes around, I think my first step is get a studio space or figure out a way I can create, because I do sculptures lately, soft sculptures, and it's kind of, they take up a lot of space.
Yeah, they do.
So once I get that down, I think just working large, kind of just going back to reassessing like who's been influencing me lately. I've been doing a lot of just like reading up on Basquiat, Keith Haring. I don't know if you can tell by the 50 million tattoos I have. That's been like a day one inspiration of me. So I've kind of been looking at roots of just like street art, navigating like, can I create street art, but I'm not a street artist, so I don't know if I could do that. Navigating like, where do I exist as a queer person, as a Mexican American, to paraphrase Gloria Anzaldúa, amazing writer. I'm kind of just exploring the borders within myself, as well as the borders I exist in physically.
I feel like that was a really good end. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Edson, for sharing a little bit about yourself, your art, your emotional journey, and you. Thank you.
You with the moo. Moo with the you.
Moo with the you. This is Moo with you.
Yeah.
Aw.
Bye. Oh.
Toodles.